O2 Arena, London. Saturday, October 25. A heavyweight storm gathering over the Thames, two men walking into it without blinking, the undefeated hammer from Ipswich, Fabio Wardley, and the reborn former world champion, Joseph Parker. The room is polite at first, then the temperature changes. Before we reach the final words that set this off, let's sit in the eye of that storm for a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final press conference for All or Nothing, a great night of World Championship Boxing to be held this Saturday, October 25th, from O2 Arena, London. It is all being brought to you by Frank Warren for Queensberry, in association with Platform Sports and Gold Star Promotion.
You hear the roll call: Queensberry, sponsors, the broadcast, the belts. And then the stakes crystallize. 12 rounds scheduled for the WBO Interim Heavyweight Championship of the world. A pathway, not just to a belt, but to Oleksandr Usyk undisputed glory, dangling just beyond Saturday night. But the promise of a future only matters if you survive the present.
First, the challenger from Ipswich, England. Undefeated with 19 wins, 1 draw, 18 of his 19 wins come by way of knockout. Ranked number 6 by Ring Magazine, let's welcome the undefeated, hard-hitting challenger, Fabio
Wardley steps up first. Undefeated, 19 wins, 1 draw, 18 knockouts. Ring Magazine's number 6. A one-punch problem with a habit of making skeptics eat their words. Then Joseph Parker, South Auckland's son, former WBO champion, 36 wins, 24 knockouts, Ring's number 2. A man who's lived at altitude before and is desperate to return. The host spells it out: the belts might be unified on Usyk's shoulders, but beneath him, a queue of restless challengers.
Thank you very much, Thomas Schreiber. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the final press conference ahead of the highly anticipated, highly debated, and highly significant heavyweight showdown taking place Saturday night at the O2 London. Whilst Oleksandr Usyk sits at the top of the division with each world title belt, behind him there is a growing queue of determined, dangerous and restless challengers, all vying for their place, vying for their spot and vying for their shot at World Championship glory. At the very front of that queue today is Joseph Parker, ranked number 2 in the...
Parker ranked number 2, experienced, hungry. Wardley, the knockout artist, climbing faster than conventional wisdom, says he should. On nights like these, the division breathes. And it breathes heavy. Here's where the suspense tightens. For Joseph Parker, this is framed as career jeopardy. 7 years since he last held a world title. Lose now, and the climb back could take forever. He doesn't argue. He doesn't flinch.
Hello everyone, good to see you all here. Thanks for making time to come to the press conference, all the media as well. Team Parker, my wife. Yeah, this is, for me, this is all or nothing really. I'm not really thinking about losing this fight. I'm going into this fight to win. And once I win, I'm going to move on to the next fight. I respect my opponent and what he's done in his career. And
he won't explain levels with words. He promises to explain with action, which is precisely the kind of line that makes the other man smile. Because Wardley has heard levels his entire career, each step was supposed to be too far, and every time, he took it anyway.
Here, give us your thoughts, biggest moment of your career. This is it, Saturday night, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, look, massive night coming up on Saturday. Massive for the pair of us on this table, and massive for me at this stage of my career as well. It is obviously the biggest fight of my career, biggest fight of my life coming up, and so far so good for me. Every time I do step up, I rise to the occasion and rise to the challenge, and Saturday is going to be no different.
If you listen closely, the first 3 minutes of this press conference are a negotiation for narrative ownership. Parker insists he is the level. Wardley insists levels don't matter when you keep climbing. Two truths racing toward collision.
Ladies and gentlemen, what does this fight mean? This is the most significant fight, I think, at the moment in the heavyweight division. It's the best one out there. These two guys have stepped up. Neither of them needed to make this fight. You know, Joe Parker, he's the interim champion. The WBO have already ordered that the Usyk has to defend his belt against him, but he was injured. And Joe said no, he wants to fight anyway. And Fabio, again, he's in a fantastic position and he only had to wait his time and he would have got a crack at it. Said, no, I want to fight as well. And not only that, I want to fight Joe Parker because it gives me a chance to jump the queue. And you've got to take your hat off to them. They're fighting men. Proper fighting men. And we've got a superb fight here. A brilliant fight. Queensbury and DAZN are bringing another great heavyweight fight to the viewers.
Frank Warren pours high octane on the fuse. He calls it the most significant fight currently available. Not because a belt changes hands on paper, but because the winner will be next for Usyk. That confirmation turns Saturday into a sorting hat for greatness. Warren lists the facts. Wardley's lack of amateur pedigree, 20 fights, 18 stoppages, the leveler in his right hand. Parker, been there, done it, beat Zhilei Zhang, Martin Bacol, and Deontay Wilder on the road back, and done it in style. Experience versus explosion. In heavyweight boxing, one clean shot can erase a decade of resume. That paradox is why the room starts to crackle.
Prize is there for the winner. The winner gets to fight Mr. Usyk. He gets to fight him for the WBO belt and the other 3 belts. And Mr. Usyk has said that he will take that fight early next year. So that is the prize. It's all or nothing for the winner.
The prize is so vivid you can almost touch it. And then the undercurrents start to swirl confidence, condescension, and quiet fury.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. It's wonderful to be back in London again. It's like a second home for our team, so we're grateful to the promoter, Frank Warren, for putting a big show on and all the fans. I'm very confident for Joseph Parker for Saturday. I've never seen him so good, and he's been getting incrementally better fight by fight. That's the scary thing. And really just the whole package now with all that experience. So I think credit to the opposition, and Wardley's got a massive punch. He could knock anyone out on his day, so the fight's not without risk.
David Higgins, from Team Parker, calls his man the most complete version yet incremental improvements fight by fight. He respects the danger in Wardley's power, but classifies it as lottery ticket probability. That phrase lands like a slap.
We've seen vulnerabilities in Parker, not just us. But yeah, for Fabio, it's fighting who is number one and who they claim is the best out there. Fabio always wants to challenge us as a team. We look for challenges. It's a sink or swim mentality, and that's what we have. And I think Fabio's gonna swim, and it's gonna be a good fight whilst it lasts.
Team Wardley won't have the lottery narrative. They say it's not luck, it's craft, sacrifice, 10-year discipline, and a plan to stop Parker in great fashion. They also reveal a quiet truth: they picked this fight. That tells you everything about Wardley's risk appetite.
Thank you.
Spencer, one final one. Do you kind of agree with what David Higgins was saying, that perhaps Fabio Wardley needs to get lucky on Saturday if he's going to win this?
I think that might be an overstatement. He's a great fighter, Fabio Wardley. He's proved time and time again. It's not just luck that he knocks people out and knocks them unconscious. We all see what happened with the Fraser Clark fight, and the first one was a very even fight, and Fabio just steps. He put the gears on in the second, and we saw an horrendous knockout, and he's capable of doing that to anybody.
Spencer Brown counters with certainty. Parker is in the best shape of his life, sharper under Andy Lee, stronger with George Lockhart. He hears the word levels and leans into it, promising you'll see them on Saturday. The rhetoric becomes a chess match, belief versus belief. And then, a pivot from the knockout narrative. Wardley is tired of being reduced to a highlight reel.
I don't know, I guess maybe it's done me, I don't know if it's a positive or negative really, that everyone focuses a lot on my power, knocking opponents out. Obviously with my record and stuff, that speaks for itself, and I guess in that case then it draws away from my actual boxing skill, boxing ability. I think anyone with an educated brain within boxing knows it takes more than some muscles and a bit of strength to knock someone out. It takes practice, timing, precision. You've got to work at those things, and all those lead into boxing IQ. So just because my record is littered with highlight reel knockouts, I think people get distracted by that and take away from actually my actual boxing skills, which set up those punches or brought me to those moments. So I guess in that situation, it works in my benefit.
He spells it out. Knockouts don't happen by accident. They're built on timing, precision, trap setting. If Parker and his team think he'll just cock the right hand and chase, they'll be preparing for a fighter who no longer exists. But Parker has seen all types. From Andy Ruiz's hand speed to Anthony Joshua's reach and discipline. From Dillian White's grit to Deontay Wilder's detonator. He's lived 12-round chess and walked through fire. The question the division keeps asking, how much is left in the tank? The answer he gives is simple.
Joseph, the idea of perhaps miles on the clock, you've been doing this for a lot longer than Fabio Wardley has. What is your...
I've got many miles on the clock. I've got many more to bring. I'm only getting into my prime now. Listen, credit to Wardley for taking this fight. It's the wrong time to take this fight because I'm going to smash him.
That word smash lands like a mallet. Not quite trash talk, more a promise said so calmly it feels inevitable. Wardley barely blinks. Wardley wanted a statement name. Under Usyk, Parker is next best. Beat him, and the rankings, the narratives, the room, everything tilts in Fabio's favor. A smaller but telling subplot emerges, activity. Wardley's had more rounds recently. Parker's last two after Zhang were brief. Ring rust versus ring miles. It's a debate as old as the sport. Is the sharper man, the busier one, or the one who's been to deeper waters?
Yeah, look, potentially. We all know, as boxers and as boxing fans, how dangerous ring rust can be. That's not to say that Joe's just been sitting at the couch watching TV and waiting for the phone to ring.
Maybe I have.
But yeah, look, I think if he had had it his way, he'd have definitely had more fights in that time period, and he would have had more time in the ring and kept more loose and kept more active if he could. But boxing will be boxing. The game is what it is, and sometimes it pushes you to the sidelines a bit. So yeah, look, ring rust on the night could show up. Who knows? It depends. It depends how active and stuff he's been outside of camp. So that's one to see.
Wardley notes that inactivity can bite when the lights flare. Parker jokes he's been on the couch, then smiles. Beneath the banter is calculation. Each man is probing for the other's doubt.
I think you're trying to catch my attention.
Yeah, I think, the fact of the matter is, we talk about these lottery tickets. AJ had the lottery ticket. Dillian White had the lottery ticket. Joe Joyce had the lottery ticket. We've heard it all before. The facts are, when Fabio gets in the ring, he knocks them out. Doesn't matter how it comes. By the end of the bell, it's Fabio Wardley's raised hands. So anything else, there's no fear from our team. There's no lack of confidence. We believe that Fabio can beat.
Wardley's corner brings receipts of momentum and belief. They argue the pattern is the truth. When he gets there, he finishes. Heavyweight math is cruel like that. How do you puncture that momentum? You reset the terms of the conversation. Parker does it in a sentence.
You'll see. There's no point talking about it. Let's just get to action.
What are you expecting to happen in there? Because Fabio Wardley has learned...
It's the voice of a veteran who trusts his habits more than his hype. That's been Parker's quiet transformation since his first title reign. Fewer declarations, more delivery. But Wardley isn't arriving as a tourist. He's the chaos variable, the unorthodox mover who didn't come up through the same schooling as everyone else, which means his rhythms aren't printed in Parker's memory.
I bring something that any boxer hasn't seen. It's few and far between that a boxer has come from my background and made it this far in the game, and it's something new. Like, my style is unorthodox. I do different things because I wasn't brought up on the same school of boxing that everyone else was. I took pieces and built it together for myself, and that's created a style which changes, which flows, which looks differently from an opponent across the ring from me. So yeah, look, it's going to be something different for him to look at. I'm not going to act or react in a certain way. I'm going to keep things fluid.
That fluidity matters. When you can't predict the beat, your guard opens on the half step. That's where knockout artists live. And always hovering over the microphones, the name Usyk, the carrot, the crown. Does Parker need a knockout to make the point? He shakes his head. Job first, glamour later. A mature answer and a window into how his camp sees Saturday.
I go out there and do my job on the weekend. I don't really care about who's next. I care about the weekend. I care about Saturday. That's who I care about. This guy in front of me.
Focus tightens. The press conference is almost done when Wardley makes his last pitch not to the room, but to Parker. He promises a knockout. He promises the O2 will feel like an extra man in his corner. He promises the kind of ending that edits itself into a career-defining montage. Parker listens, thanks his team, and drops the line that finally removes the gloves.
Joseph Parker, defending champion.
Firstly, thanks to my team for being here. Spencer, David, George, Andy, rest of the team. I'm going to smash you.
Let's get them faced off.
That's the break point. No metaphors left. No hedging. Just two heavyweights staring down the shortest possible distance between them. Step back and the bigger picture snaps into focus. This fight is a referendum on two paths. Parker, the former champion who rebuilt his style under Andy Lee, more composure, better shot selection, smarter risk management, wants to prove that class travels. Wardley, the latecomer with uncommon power and a learning curve that bends upward every time he's doubted, wants to blow through the gate-marked experience. The resume column favors Parker, a title win over Andy Ruiz, 12 tactical rounds with Anthony Joshua, deep waters with Dillian White. The resurgence marked by statement wins over Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang, plus a quick night against Martin Bakole. The momentum column is trickier. Wardley's 1901 ledger, with 18 stoppages, tells you he doesn't wait for judges. He hunts exits. And hunters force champions to make choices. So what decides it? Distance control and discipline for Parker, entry timing and sustained chaos for Wardley. If Parker's jab and feet set the terms, Wardley's power will arrive late, wide, and desperate. If Wardley can disrupt the rhythm early, force exchanges in the channels Parker doesn't like, the fight becomes a coin spinning on its edge, and when heavyweights flip coins, they tend to land with a thud. That's why this press conference mattered more than usual. It wasn't just bravado, it was two distinct blueprints nailed to the same door. And the door is the O2 ring, 20,000 voices, one night, one winner heading toward Usyk. Wardley insists he blooms under bright lights and chaos. Parker insists the moment won't change him at all. Confidence versus composure, immovable versus irresistible. And the suspense, it's still here. Because the real reveal doesn't happen until the first bell. That's the truth of heavyweight boxing. Press conferences write checks. Only fists can cash them. Saturday answers the questions that talking can't. Is Parker's prime really now, or is Wardley's ascent about to blast through another ceiling? Does activity beat class, or does class make activity irrelevant? And the loudest of all, who walks through the O2 corridor, knowing that Usyk is next? And who walks it with a 1,000-yard stare, wondering how close they were? They stand up. The room breathes in.
Let's get them faced off. Thank you very much.
Two men who don't make promises lightly, locked into a final stare. The cameras catch it, but the answer isn't in their eyes. It's in the first exchange, the first adjustment, the first time someone has to choose between courage and caution. All or nothing. That's not marketing, it's the reality of the division tonight. One man climbs toward the crown. The other learns how heavy the ladder can be. Your call. Whose blueprint survives contact? Does Wardley's right hand write another chapter, or does Parker's schooling and timing turn the page? Drop your take below and tell me this: if the winner gets Usyk, what puzzle piece do they already have that can trouble the champion? I'll see you on Fight Night.